Hey, so our group has decided to discuss the upper housing component, which acts as a casing for the motor to provide an example for metalworking. The upper housing is both a protective and functional part of the motor. It serves to protect the functioning parts of the motor, to protect people from injury, and from outside elements. The upper housing also serves a functional role as it houses the starter cord, which is needed to get the motor going. The upper housing has to provide protection from the motor. This means that it has to be relatively sturdy and made of thick enough metal to house the motor while it is in operation. As well as that, it has to be sturdy enough so that the starter cord can be pulled and it doesn't affect the internal operation of the motor. It also has to be relatively light, and that is why it is made of aluminium. The lawnmower is quite heavy, and any place where weight can be saved will increase its efficiency.
Upper housing is linked by two parts. We can just call them part 1 and part 2. Both of the two parts were made by using sheet forming obviously. Sheet metal is metal formed by an industrial process into thin, flat pieces, and its two parts are all thin, flat metal pieces.
Apart from the fact that parts 1 and 2 appear to be made from sheet metal, there are some other indicators that metalworking has been used. Firstly, by inspecting the pieces, we can see that it looks like the metal has been bent and folded. There are also no visible points on the pieces where it appears that two pieces of metal have been joined together by a weld or similar. This indicates that the whole piece came from a single piece of sheet. The final indicator is that the profile of both pieces can be extruded from a plane, which is a big indicator that a deep drawing process was used. To manufacture the two parts, it is likely that the following processes were used. Firstly, metal would have gone through a rolling process to form sheet metal. Secondly, the sheet metal would have been sheared to a workable size for the component. This is because sheets of metal are manufactured in bulk, whilst only a small portion is required for the housing. Thirdly, bolt holes and centre hole would have been pierced. This would occur while the workpiece is still relatively flat to avoid having to punch at multiple angles. Fourth, the internal shape of the part would have been formed using a deep drawing process. As it is an internal feature, a drawing process is most suitable. 5. The three-dimensional features around the bolt hole which ensure the correct connection angles would have been flanged. This must occur after the drawing process to allow the punch to recede from the workpiece. 6. Finally, any excess material would have been trimmed from the workpiece.